Oh, thanks for having me, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I know this time last week we were discussing if you can't beat Kirk Cousins, then number one, as you said, you got a real problem with the architect of the team, and two, well, then you got a real long-term and short-term problem at the quarterback position. Well, Sal, here we are a week later, and you lost to Kirk Cousins. So what does that say now?
Yeah, Mike, that was a big loss, and the way they lost, you have to blame the architect. I don't think you have to blame Sam Bradford. I thought Bradford showed some really encouraging signs against Washington. I really did.
I agree. Taking some shots down the field, he finally looked like – Sal, do you agree that he looked like a more confident guy, just better? You were talking about his body language a couple of weeks ago. He had better body language. He looked like a more confident player.
Well, especially in the second half.
Yeah.
In the first, he's been so poor in the first half in every game. You wonder if the team is ill-prepared or if he's ill-prepared.
And one thing, too, is a lot of people have been asking that. Somebody on the show earlier in the week said he needs to dive into the playbook a little bit more, Sal. And it looked like a guy that they expanded the playbook at least for. So can the Eagles at least build, can Sam Bradford at least build on that performance and say, hey, we can put more in his lap?
That was an encouraging sign. I think the second encouraging sign was that Chip Kelly realized that he's got to change the design of the offense, and he's got to do a better job of calling plays. I was the one who asked him that question Wednesday at the press conference at NovaCare.
Yep.
And I specifically asked him, Mike, I said, okay, what do you got to do to call plays better, especially on first and second down, because they're in third and long too much? And he said that we've got to get in rhythm early. We've got to throw shorter passes, get the ball out of our hands more quickly. So I went back and looked at it. The release of the football by the quarterback is so important in the game because, as you and I have discussed over the course of this season, everybody is blitzing the line of scrimmage and blitzing the quarterback because you can't really play pass defense unless you are attacking the quarterback because the referees are just calling it so tight in the secondary. So you got to blitz. That means the quarterback's got to get his hands on the football quickly and get the ball out of his hands quickly. And you look at the top 5 guys in terms of release, and of course Tom Brady's number 1, 2.04 seconds. Peyton Manning is number 5. Eli is number 4. Aaron Rodgers is number 3. Drew Brees is number 2, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Sam Bradford is 22nd in the league in the time it takes him to release the football. 22nd.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that is a perfectly good statistical illustration of what Chip Kelly is talking about. He can't hold on to the ball, Bradford. It's get the ball and release it. And this is the same problem he had with Nick Foles, if you remember.
Yeah.
Last year, he kept preaching to Nick Foles, get the ball out of your hands quickly. And I think that's what they're going to try against the Saints. I think you will see some shots downfield, but more important, I think on first and second down, what you will see are a lot of short, quick passes to the outside the hash numbers, to crossing Darren Sproles, to a crossing Jordan Matthews, and to Zach Ertz. I think the design of the offense has the stems of these pass routes way too deep. Way too deep. That's forcing Bradford to hold the ball too long and for pass protection to hold up too long. And when you have an offensive line that's got so many changes and so many injuries, that's a problem. So I see 2 encouraging signs based on the game and what I heard. One is Kelly's willing to adapt. 2 is Bradford showed confidence in the second half.
I like both of those points. Sal Palantonio is with us, Sal Pal Friday here. And I was going to ask you, he's holding on to the ball really long, as you just chronicled, 22nd in the NFL. And how much of that is on Bradford? How much is that on the guys not getting open? How much is that is the pressure because the offensive line, or is it a mixture of all three?
It's a mixture of all three, but I think it's Bradford. I think it's Kelly. I think you didn't mention Kelly.
Yeah.
I think Kelly is the main culprit. I think he's got to design a quick passing game, shorten the stem on these routes, call plays that call for quicker release of the football. Get the ball out of your hands quick, short routes. Get some timing and rhythm. Get some flow going on first and second down.
Yeah, they had that flow in that second half.
Mike, that's why Sam Bradford has got the lowest completion percentage on third down of any quarterback at 40%. He's last in the league, Mike.
Wow.
And the reason is he's in too many third and longs.
And I saw, Sal, they are 26% as a team on third down conversions. I mean, that's just putrid right now. And that's been part of the narrative on their defense is, well, they're on the field too long. What is the take on the time of possession and the snaps? This seems to be going back and forth with him, but 42 minutes on the field, we can all agree that's too much, right?
Well, I think it comes down to two things. One, you're not controlling the line of scrimmage at all on offense because of, you're down to your second and third team guys at some positions. Lane Johnson's hurt, Jason Peters is hurt, Jason Kelsey's coming back from an injury. And also the design of the offense. You're not using tight ends and an extra back to pass protect. You're not controlling the line of scrimmage on third down. You're just not.
Yeah.
On defense, same thing is true. You're not controlling the line of scrimmage on pressure on the quarterback. The team is not getting enough pressure. Don't have enough pass rush. So if you're not controlling the line of scrimmage on third down, offensively and defensively, your offense can't stay on the field. Defensively, your defense can't get off the field.
It's been a big problem, and it's been a big thing. I agree that they have chances, Sal, earlier in the game. Third down 19 to give up a run like that. There's a chance right there to get off the field and save yourself a couple of minutes. But you're right. The offense needs to get in a rhythm because it seems that they're going 3 and out. That defense gets right out there. But that all starts with the run game, as we know, and we've had a lot of people. Bobby Hebert was on earlier, and he basically said, look, Sam can play quarterback in this league, but this just isn't the right offense for him because no one's buying that he's going to run. Has it come down to NFL teams know that they know what's going on, and that quarterback's not running, and therefore it's not working?
And so you have to change the offense.
Yep.
And one thing that you have to change is you have to run the ball out from center. Quarterback under center, running back 7 yards deep, more conventional running game, use 2 tight ends. The team should be using 2 tight ends almost exclusively. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, an extra running back to block. You have to change the offense. Bobby Hebert is right. If the quarterback is not a threat to run in this offense, Sam Bradford might as well be Nick Foles.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I want to ask you a couple other things. Sal Pal Fridays here on the Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN. What are you making? It seems that everybody could just easily say Kelly, college, jobs, and it's not going well. Do you get any indication that he would want to return to college? I hear that he likes the NFL. You probably hear more than I would, Sal, but do you get any indication that he would want to go back to college?
I don't. And I know the USC job could be opened up because Sarkisian is not doing a good job out there, and there's been rumors. There's a report out of L.A. that USC and the boosters there would be interested in bringing Kelly back to the West Coast. I get that's always going to crop up when you have openings in Texas or USC or wherever. But I don't get the indication that Kelly's begging to go back. I don't.
He likes the NFL. Is that basically? I mean, he came here and he's finding out that he likes it.
He does not want to leave here a failure. He just doesn't. Everything about his makeup tells me that this guy wants to see it through. But he's got to change. Now, Mike, you're leaving out the most important thing that happened this week. And that is the biggest news of all was that Kelly stopped blaming the team, stopped blaming the players, stopped blaming the quote-unquote execution, and said that he and the coaching staff were equally to blame for the problems on offense.
Mm-hmm.
And he needed to do a better job in design and play calling. That's the biggest news of the week.
Yeah, and I was getting to the point where he said all week long or leading up to it was execution, and he finally kind of admitted that, hey, we need to do a better job, in the immortal words of Andy Reid.
And you know what? So the question is, who got to him? Who got to Chip Kelly? No, seriously.
No, it's fair.
That's an important question. Who got to Chip Kelly? And there are a number of theories around. Did the owner say, hey, you can't do this? Did the players, was there a council of players that went to Kelly and said, you have to change your approach in terms of who you blame and how you rationalize this? Was it, I know the Eagles are always in the field polling their fans and their customers. Were the Eagles getting feedback that Chip Kelly needed to change his tune? I mean, there are a lot of theories out there. We don't know the answer, but there was a reason somewhere along the. Did Kelly just have an epiphany? This doesn't sound good. Did another coach who he respects go to him and say, "This is not going to work. You're going to lose your locker room, and it doesn't sound good. It sounds selfish."
Wow.
There's a lot of theories out there, but I think that's the most important thing that happened. Who got to Kelly, and why did he abruptly change his tune?
Good stuff. Sal Pal Friday's here. Let me ask you real quick. The Saints, they're 1-3. They win that game last week, but I don't know that anybody puts a lot of stock into that. Is this a good Saints team, or is this we said last week, if you can't beat that Redskins team, what are you? How about playing this team on your home turf?
Well, I think this game is harder than the Redskins game. You got Drew Brees going to the Hall of Fame, and Sean Payton, who is a very, very, very good coach on every level. They may not have the horses like they once did, but that guy can coach, and that guy can play quarterback. This is not an easy game. I call this game Desperation Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
You got two 1-3 teams, Mike. Two 1-3 teams in last place, desperate to turn their season around, and they are playing this game on Desperation Sunday so that it doesn't turn into Elimination Sunday. Because if you go 1-4, if you're the Saints, you're in a division that has two 4-0 teams, so you're pretty much out of it.
Yep.
If you go 1-4 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, let me give you this number on a Sal Pal Friday on AC ESPN Radio, the Mike Gill Show. You ready for this?
I'm listening.
The Eagles have been playing football in Philadelphia for 83 years, 83 seasons. No Eagles team in the 83-year history of the franchise has started 1-4 and gone to the playoffs.
That's not good news for the Chip Kelly boys if they lose on Sunday, Sal. 83 years worth of, 1-4 would be. I said it. I agree with you too. I said this game means more to the Saints because the two teams in their division are 4-0. They got no shot to win that division. They're playing for a wild card. The Eagles, 1-4, but your numbers right there make you feel like it's not going to happen. And I agree with you. This would be an awful loss, but. Hey, we'll see what happens. And before we let you run on the Sal Pal Friday, I want to talk about the play Rizzo that you had a part in there with your 1994 book. Tell our listeners about the play.
Oh, thank you for mentioning it. Yes, my book was adapted for the stage. It's called Rizzo, and it is at Theater Exile in South Philadelphia. Previews start next Thursday.
The 15th.
Opening night is October 21st. If you go on, if you just Google Rizzo the play or Theater Exile, you find out how to get tickets. Opening night, I'm happy to report, Mike is already sold out.
Nice.
Yep, and it's one of those things where we've been trying to make a movie out of my book for years, and now they've made a play. based on my book, The Last Big Man in Big City America, which, as you mentioned, was published in 1994. And it's pretty interesting because Rizzo was a larger-than-life character. His entire life was really theater, and to adapt him for the stage seems only fitting.
A former political writer, Sal Pal Antonio, now at ESPN, of course, and every Friday on a Sal Pal Friday. Great article at Philly Voice to read more about this play and Sal Pal's book. It opens on the 21st, and we can get more on that. Ken, as he said, just Google it there, Rizzo, the play. And the play will be, can Philadelphia run the ball, and will Chip Kelly change the play calling? That remains to be seen.
Yeah, it is. Remember, Mike, you don't want to turn Desperation Sunday into Elimination Sunday, Mike. You don't want to do that.
Boy, I'll tell you, fans are on edge, Sal. You know they're on edge. You've been doing this a long time. You know how they feel.
Oh, it's about to become a mutiny, without a doubt.
All right, Sal Pal Fridays, everybody. We'll talk to Sal next week. All right, enjoy the games this week, Sal.
All right, Mike, thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next Friday, boss.